From Zoom meetings to home offices, the pandemic has changed how we do business. And study after study has shown that a majority of American workers don't want to lose that flexibility. Christine Lazar is here now to tell us more about how COVID has changed the way we work.
You know, I never thought I'd work from home, and I did.
It's been almost 2 years, right?
Yeah, I mean, you know, we're out in the field again, but, you know, we still sometimes have our home base, not here, but at home.
Yeah, I missed you.
Yeah, well, I'm here today for you, though. Kind of ironic, right? A recent Bloomberg study found that nearly 40% of the workers they polled would leave their jobs if they were forced to work full-time in the office. The pandemic has not only changed the way employees want to work, it's shown employers that you don't need to be in the office to be productive.
That's a good one.
Before the pandemic, Jackie Purcell commuted from Granada Hills to Brentwood for her job at a commercial real estate company 5 days a week.
Oh boy, I left here usually about 5:15 in the morning, and that would only take me 25 or 30 minutes. I would work out there and get ready there, and I missed my morning commute, so that was perfect. But my way home can be an hour and 20, hour and 45.
Robbing her of quality time with her 2 young children.
Our evenings become just this race to bedtime.
When COVID hit in March 2020, Purcell shifted to working from home full-time. She's now back in the office 3 days a week and works from home the other 2. She says she feels like she needs to be in the office to collaborate with her coworkers, but appreciates having a hybrid schedule.
With having kids and more responsibilities and more appointments to run to, more laundry, I do like having the flexibility.
That flexibility was much harder to find before the pandemic.
A lot of employers were hesitant to move to a full remote workforce, mostly because there's a trust issue.
Patricia Grabarek says many employers found the opposite was true when offices shut down. Grabarek is an adjunct professor at USC and the co-founder of Worker Being, which helps companies achieve workplace wellness.
So research shows that a lot of employees can be way more productive when they're at home. They're able to focus in and create an environment that's conducive to the way they like to work. And research for decades has actually shown that if we allow employees to have autonomy over how they do their work and flexibility in their schedules, they're much more likely to be happy in their jobs.
A recent study by Glassdoor found that the number of people looking for remote work jumped 460% from June 2019 to June 2021. And if they offer remote work, employers can widen their job search to those out of state. They can also save money. It's part of the reason global staffing company Aquent decided to let its leases lapse across the country, including offices in LA and Orange County.
We realized we were just wasting a lot of money on real estate and overhead expenses that could be better spent investing in our staff.
The move affects thousands of local workers.
We find that people are actually more productive. They have more time to get work done. They're not commuting. And it really comes down to really great leadership and trusting your employees to get the work done and focusing more on outcomes than time clocking into an office.
There are limitations to that productivity, according to a study just released by Microsoft. The tech giant found that remote work hurts its innovation and communication amongst its more than 60,000 employees.
And so what employers are tasked with now is trying to figure out a way to create that community, to create mechanisms for collaboration with people wherever they may be.
Aquent plans to spend some of the money saved on rent on building community.
We have employees who are interested in hiking the Appalachian Trail together. We have folks who want to start sailing team. There are a lot of different things, and we're going to encourage the kind of deliberate new ways of connecting that don't necessarily mean working elbow to elbow in a cubicle farm.
Experts say the pandemic will leave a permanent mark on the way we do business well after it's over.
It's really prompted employers to reimagine where and when work is performed and to offer more flexibility around both.
Now, experts say allowing workers more flexibility will also help stem the tide of women leaving the workforce. Nearly 3 million women left their careers during the first 13 months of the pandemic, which is really sad because I know some very talented, intelligent women who just, you know, had to make a decision. Where do I put my kids?
They got children and they're Zooming and doing their own work.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, you know, Kristen, I want to ask you a question. Are there any downsides to working from home, aside from the impact, of course, on collaboration?
Aside from your kids interrupting your Zoom. Yeah, I did find this interesting. Experts say employers were always concerned that workers would not be as productive when at home, but those experts say studies have found the opposite, that people often work too much when they're remote. It's tougher to shut off that computer when it's accessible to you 24/7. And I find I do that, right? My computer's there, so I'm checking it on the weekends, I'm checking it early morning, late at night. It's harder to just put it away when it's staring you in the face.
Well, very interesting, Christine, and time will only tell, right? Probably not too much longer when
and hopefully
businesses
this
make those decisions.
Helps our traffic a little bit.
Oh, man, I'm with you on that.
I think we may be past that here in LA, but maybe in other places.
You're right. All right, thanks so much, Christine. And if you have a story idea for Christine, email to On Your Side at cbs.com, and Christine will see what she can do to help you out.